Showtime,
hey, baby. What you talking about?
Showtime.
Talk to me.
Showtime.
The biggest show for the NFL is the Super Bowl, a production that's become as much about glitz and glamour as gridiron glory, thanks in large part to television.
Television created the Super Bowl. TV made the Super Bowl.
About America's game, set against a backdrop that takes every Thanksgiving Day parade, every New Year's bowl game, and one-ups them.
But the grand game with a worldwide audience that's nearing 1 billion had humble beginnings.
The first Super Bowl or first AFL-NFL championship game had 30,000 unsold seats, and it wasn't the game that we know today.
In fact, those in attendance were asked to move to the center seats to make a better impression for the TV cameras. Cameras that were broadcasting the game on not one, but 2 networks.
NBC and CBS both did the game. And this was a Solomon-like decision by Pete Rozelle, since for the first Super Bowl, NBC had the contract still in place for the AFL, and CBS had the NFL. So what to do? Both of you do it. So this was a competition between the 2 networks as much as Kansas City and Green Bay and the 2 leagues.
Long before the Chiefs and Packers took to the field, the competition between CBS and NBC took on a real sense of rivalry.
From day one, there was always the feeling that there was a certain amount of superiority in the CBS camp.
And in NBC's camp?
We felt, in working with the league office, we were kind of really second-rate guys. Not second-rate, but not really as important as perhaps they felt their brethren from CBS were.
They had good people, and they had their pride. And we had our pride, and we had very good people.
We had some personnel problems. Some guys got a little too exuberant on the days leading up to the game.
There was a lot of animosity, a lot of fists swung in the lot outside the stadium, so much so that they had, the next day we came, they had built a 10-foot chain link fence between the CBS trucks and the NBC trucks to keep them apart. We were fine, the broadcasters, but not the technicians.
CBS's cameras and crews would shoot the game, leaving NBC no control and few choices to make.
While the game was on, they were just taking the feed coming out of the CBS truck. I mean, it was our cameras, our camera personnel, calling the shots. So while I wasn't in their truck, I'm sure that they were probably fuming, probably criticizing selection of coverage, if you will. But there wasn't a whole lot to do.
Considering how little NBC did have to do, it's hard to explain their incredible blunder that occurred at the end of the halftime break.
And boom, there's a kickoff. And all of a sudden, their flag's gone down, a whistle's blowing, and everything stops.
And somebody yelled out in the field, "Hey, don't kick off yet. We're not on the air. We're with the affiliates."
NBC was not back from a commercial break. It was waved off before the ball was caught by the receiver, but there were 2 second-half kickoffs.
After the game, the network battle ended in hand-to-hand combat in the Packers' locker room.
And we have Ratterman for NBC, Summerall for CBS, and 1 microphone. And Pat has the microphone. And George Ratterman asks a question and goes to grab the microphone from Summerall. In the truck, Bill McPhail says, "Tell him to get that damn microphone back." So what you see on the screen is Pat Summerall smiling very nicely at George Ratterman while George is talking, and going this way with those big ham hands of his and pulling the microphone right back. It was quite a time, that first Super Bowl.
With CBS in the broadcast booth and the Packers on the field, it seems the NFL beat the AFL not once, but twice in the same game.